Hi, mathematicians. I'm Mrs. Coleman, and today for math, we're going to explore addition equations. Before we do, let's warm up our brains. To warm up, I'm going to tell you some math stories. There were 3 kindergarten teachers, and along came one more kindergarten teacher. Altogether, there were 4 kindergarten teachers. I had 3 Pokemon cards, and my brother gave me 3 more Pokemon cards. Altogether, I had 6 Pokemon cards. There was one dog, and she had 4 puppies. Altogether, there were 5 dogs total. It's time to learn. Math stories are all around us in our world, and we can make a math story from pretty much anything. And one way to show and tell a math story is by using something called an equation. Today, I'm going to show you specifically how we create and solve addition equations. Let's go back to our first math story. We started with 3 kindergarten teachers, so I'm going to put a 3. And then we added a teacher, so I'm going to put the plus sign. And how many did we add? Well, we just added 1, so I'm going to put a 1. When you take 3 plus 1, that equals 4. 3 plus 1 equals 4. Our second math story was about Pokemon cards. I first started out with 3 Pokemon cards, so I'm going to put a 3. And then my brother gave me some, so we're adding to the group. So I'm going to put a plus sign. And how many did he add on to my group? 3. And when you total 3 and 3 together, you get 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6. The third math story was about dogs. We started out with 1 dog, so I'm going to put a 1. And then that dog had some puppies, so I'm going to put the plus sign because we're adding to the group. And how many puppies did she have? 4, so I'm going to write a 4. When you take 1 plus 4, that equals 5. 1 plus 4 equals 5. So you see, you can take a math story and use an addition equation to show and to tell that math story with numbers. Now we're going to take a closer look at addition equations and look at the parts of an equation. So in this equation, 4 plus 1 equals 5. The 4 and the 1, they're called add-ins. That's just a fancy word for partners, the 2 numbers that you put together. The plus sign is the symbol that goes in between those 2 add-ins, and that just tells mathematicians that we're putting these numbers together, we're adding them. The equal sign is what you put before you put the sum, the total amount you get when you put the 2 add-ins together. To solve and find the sum of addition equations, there are many ways to do this. Today, I'm going to show and we're going to practice 3 strategies, 3 ways to solve an addition equation. Let's take a look. Let's start with the addition equation 5 plus 2. The first strategy is called use your fingers. So in this equation, we start with 5. So that means put 5 fingers up. And then we want to add on 2. So you're going to put up 2 fingers. And when you count 5 fingers plus 2 fingers, you get 7 fingers altogether. So 5 plus 2 equals 7. The second strategy you can use to solve an addition equation is called use objects. The word object is just a fancy word for thing. So objects could be toys, jewelry, pieces of food, anything that you can hold and that you can count. So in the equation 5 plus 2, the first add-in is 5. So I'm going to take 5 toy cars and put them close to the equation. And then the second add-in is 2. So I'm going to put 2 toy cars next to it. And when I add and count the 5 cars plus the 2 cars, I get 7. 7 cars total. The third strategy that you can use to solve addition equations is called use pictures. This means to draw a picture to represent the parts of the equation. So in the equation 5 plus 2, the first number is 5. So I'm going to draw 5 circles above it. And then the next number we want to add on to it is 2. So I'm going to draw 2 circles next to it. And when you count the 5 circles plus the 2 circles, you have 7 circles altogether. 5 plus 2 equals 7. So these are 3 of the many strategies you can use to solve addition equations. You could use strategy number 1, use your fingers. You could use strategy number 2, use objects. Or you can use strategy number 3, use pictures. Now that you learned some strategies that you can use to solve addition equations, we are going to practice solving some. To practice solving addition equations today, you are going to need a couple things. The first thing you are going to need is something to write with. I chose to grab a whiteboard marker, an eraser, and a dry erase marker. The second thing you're going to need to grab is some objects. That means anything that your family will let you use from around the house to count. So I chose to grab Q-tips. So if you don't want to grab a whiteboard and a whiteboard marker and some Q-tips, here are some other options. For the writing materials, you could gather a whiteboard marker and a whiteboard, or paper with a pencil, marker, or crayon. And for the objects, you could grab toys like Legos, blocks, dinosaurs, toy cars, Pokemon cards, Shopkins, or food or candy. When you grab objects, be sure to grab about 20 objects. When I say pause, I want you to push the pause button on your device to stop and go get the writing materials that you'll need for this lesson, along with 20 objects of your choice. So if you choose to do Legos, grab 20 Legos. If you choose to do Skittles, go get 20 Skittles. So I'll see you back here with your writing materials and your objects. Pause. Welcome back, mathematicians. Before we get started with our practice, I want to remind you of the 3 strategies you can use to solve addition equations. The first strategy is use your fingers, the second strategy is use objects, and the third strategy is use pictures. So how we're going to practice is you are going to see an addition equation on the screen. I want you to use your writing materials to write that equation down. And then together, we are going to use strategies to solve and find the answer for those addition equations. Are you ready? Here we go. So the first strategy that we're going to use is using our fingers. But first, let's write down that equation below. So it says 4 plus 3. Write it down. This is how I wrote it down? Okay. So we have 4. So everybody put up 4 fingers. And then the second add-in is 3. So put up 3 fingers. Now I like to count them on my nose to make sure I touch every finger. Let's count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 plus 3 gets you 7. So let's write 7. 4 plus 3 equals 7. Let's erase and use our fingers again for the next one. The next equation says 7 plus 2 equals. So let's write that down. Got it? This is what I'm excited. Okay, so let's use our fingers again to solve this equation. The first add-in is 7, so put up 7 fingers. And then the second part is adding on 2. So let's put up 2. Ready? 1, 2. Let's count this on our nose. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is the answer. And if you didn't need to count them on your nose and you just knew this was 9, give yourselves a pat on the back. Ready to show? 7 plus 2 equals 9. Now let's try the next strategy of using objects. So let's erase and look at the next one. All right, it looks like the next equation says 6 plus 5. So let's write that first. 6 plus 5. This is mine. Okay. So since we're using objects for this strategy, whatever object you chose, you're going to have that in front of you. So the first add-in, the first partner is 6. So grab 6. Okay, I got 6. And then the second partner looks like we need to grab 5. So get 5 of that object. All right, you have your objects. You should have yours probably down. I'm just going to hold mine in there so you can see it. So here we have 6 plus 5. Let's count them to see how much we have all together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is the sum. It's the total, so let's write it down. Ready? Let's read it. 6 plus 5 equals 11. Let's try that same strategy again. All right, our next equation shows 7 plus 8 equals, so let's write that down. All right, now since we're using objects, let's do that same thing again. What's the first number that we have? 7, so grab 7 objects. All right, and then what's the second partner? 8, so grab another 8. Okay. So the two partners we have are 7 plus 8. Let's count them all together now. Ready? You count yours, I'll count mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 7 plus 8 gets you 15. Let's write it down. Seven plus 8 equals 15. Let's try the last strategy. So the last strategy is draw a picture. But before we do that, let's write down that equation below. Nine plus 3 equals. So now, for the strategy drawing pictures, you can draw just about anything. I like to make it easy peasy lemon squeezy, and I just draw circles to make it nice and quick. So it looks like the first add-in, the first partner, shows 9. So we should do 9 baby circles next to it. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the next partner, the next add-in, says 3. So let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. Now let's see what our total is when we add 9 circles plus 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The answer is 12. 9 plus 3 equals 12. Let's do it again. This last equation reads 4 plus 7. So let's write that down first. Now, since the strategy we're using is use pictures, let's use a picture to show this equation. The first partner is 4, so let's make 4 circles. And the second partner, the second add-in, is a 7, so let's make 7 circles. So now we have to find what the sum is when we add 4 plus 7. Are you ready to count together? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 plus 7 equals 11. Now that we had a chance to practice all 3 strategies together, it's time to test yourself. During our practice time, we tried out all 3 strategies. And as a mathematician, you're going to need to decide which strategy works best for you. So you might favor one strategy over another and just use that one the whole time. Or you might kind of pick and choose which strategy you want to use based on how big or small the numbers are. Let me remind you of the 3 strategies that we practiced today. Use fingers, use objects, use pictures. In just a moment, you are going to see an addition equation on the screen. The first thing you're going to do is write that equation down. The second thing you're going to do is you are going to choose one of the 3 strategies to find the answer to that addition equation. The third thing you're going to do is write the sum down. At the end, I will give you the answer. You will do this a few times. Are you ready? Here we go. The answer is 10. The answer is 8. The answer is 8. How did it go? Let's review what we learned. These are the parts of an addition equation. We have 2 add-ins, and we use a plus sign to show that we're putting them together. The equal sign comes right before the sum, the total number you get when you add the add-ins together. And we use addition equations to support and show math stories. If you are interested in growing your knowledge around addition equations, something you can try is you or a family member can make addition equations, and then you can try to use the strategies to solve them. I tried it. Check them out. On this first one, I used my fingers. On this second equation, I used macaroni. And on the third one, I drew circles and made a picture. The next time we do math, which will be this Wednesday, we are going to explore something called subtraction equations. Thank you for working hard with me today, mathematicians. We'll see you next time.